it's great when we come together because we think of a lot of these things that are almost reminiscent. We think of our old grows, old things that we're doing, and sometimes realize what we feel is old and dated is actually becoming relevant again, like pop culture does sometimes. The 70s comes back and becomes the music style or the movie style. Seemingly, people are going back in time when it comes to growing methods and even equipment, and they're making this the new norm, which is pretty interesting to see.
Yeah, and there's so many different things out there that have circled back around, like you mentioned, or some things that are old school that people still have been doing consistently over the years. And I think I'll kick this one off. One of the old school techniques that a lot of people do to really bring out colors at the end of flowering is lowering the temperature.
Oh, it's
In the
genius.
final weeks of flowering, lowering the temperature, it helps bring out some of the colors, during senescence. And you get a lot of purpling come out and stuff like that. I know with pigeons, he grew up my chilled OG.
He grew my pillows.
Chilled OG.
He
He fluffed my pillows.
Okay, whoa. Okay, whoa.
The pillow OG is the super indica pheno. It exceeds chilling out. They're sleeping no.
The chilled OG, which he got some incredible colors, and he lowered the temps in the 50s Fahrenheit, if I remember correctly.
Dude, it was crazy looking. We both, well, clearly you've grown it. We both have some fair amount of experience with it. And
Have you grown it? Yeah. Oh, okay,
I couldn't believe, the smell was there, but I was like, what the hell what the heliante? It was purple and colorful and Technicolor rainbow, dude. Totally different.
Brought out some great expressions just from lowering the temp. And not only does lowering the temp bring out those colors at the end of flowering, but it also helps conserve some of those terpenes. And that's a tip that I actually learned from Dr. Bruce Bugbee. I like to give credit where credit is due.
I thought you were going to say me, but that's no big deal.
He's the one who I first heard this from. We know that temperature increase, the more it increases, the more terpenes you're losing. And if you're going into your grow room and it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit, for example, and you're smelling a wave of terps hit you in the face, is that really a good thing that you've lost all that terps to there? No, you probably would conserve those terpenes a lot more if you had just lowered the temps. And typically what people will lower them down to is roughly between 75 and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't have it memorized what that is in Celsius. I don't know if Pigeons does or not.
What was the temperature?
About 78 degrees Fahrenheit.
It's like 23,
okay,
24 Celsius.
So lowering it down just for the final weeks, final 2 weeks. Some people do 3 weeks of the grow. They'll lower it down there to bring out the colors, conserve the terpenes. And yeah, that's definitely an old school thing. Something that people have been doing for so long that still gets good results today.
Yeah, and I want to be very clear, as genius as I am, I was just growing chilled OG in the wintertime. It gets cold down here, boy. Despite even having, the best technologies, it's a basement. I'm on the concrete. Now, of course, I've got elevation off the concrete, but the concrete still makes the space cold. And so, yeah, I was growing it in the wintertime, and it's cold. So the temps dropped.
It worked out, and I think in those things, it's one of those situations where you get to experience another spectrum of a particular cultivar by tweaking the environmental impact, and you've got the cold preservation of your terpenes, your flavonoids, the esters, the thiols. Certain things scientifically need to stay lower in temperature, but then when you start to change the pigment a little bit more with the color manipulation, you get a lot of that eye candy that most of the growers these days are after. So it's definitely a good one to see kind of still being utilized or being more common utilized these days.
Commonly utilized.
No,
we're here for each other, boys.
Thank
we're
you.
here
I
for each other.
appreciate you. I appreciate you, my friend.
Yeah. Go ahead. You're winding up.
I can keep on going. Just
please
keep
do.
one after another. Boom. I think another thing that old school technique that's still used today, it actually kind of died out, but really became more and more popular over the past 10 years is growing in living soil. Even narrowing it down to a super soil. I mean, this is something that a lot of folks have done over the years. I mean, this is before we were even on the born, you know what I mean?
Oh, literally,
we're talking,
dude, this is like 70s, 60s, probably before that even.
The plants have been around for thousands and thousands of years, millions of years, whatever, I don't even know. But
you'd think millions of years.
None of them are using...
At least a few hundred.
At least a few.
Final answer.
There was no synthetic nutrients back then, right? There was no hydroponic systems back then. They were just using organic amendments, all natural stuff. they're putting into the soil, or just putting the seed in the soil and let nature do its thing, right? Growing naturally. And we saw that die off over the years as synthetic nutrients became more popular in the 90s, 2000s. People getting really great yields off of it, different grow methods with hydro and stuff, explosive growth, just really fast growth doing those methods. But when we bring sustainability into the conversation, organic really does kind of win the all natural route. So we have seen a wave of people go to organic from synthetic, or the new growers are just getting started. Instead of starting with bottles, they're just starting with dry amendments. So yeah, old school way, and still has good results today is using organic or all natural inputs.
Even in my own time frame, I've seen, or in my own grow journey, I've seen the ups and downs of synthetic, organic, synthetic, organic. When I first started, it's not that organic's always been around, but it seemed as if a lot of people sharing information online were focused on nutrients that were specific to this plant, and that we're able to give quickly. And I'm just trying to make another way for synthetic nutrients. Miracle Grow, talked about this before. Miracle Grow was a very prevalent way to grow our plant in the 60s, 70s. I don't know when Miracle Grow came out, probably more like the 80s and 90s. And it's really what our forefathers, to use that word, really honed their practices in with. And so when I started growing, it was like a synthetic nutrient was kind of like the way to go. And then as I kind of progressed through, it's like more people started to, that's when I really saw things like Build a Soil come out. Build a Soil came out. I don't even know when, but I'm thinking around 2015, 16.
2012, I think.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
It got on my radar in just a few short years, which is pretty amazing. If I was starting to hear about it in 15, 16.
Might have been 2015. I don't know.
I don't know
quote
either.
Me on it.
I don't know. I just, when it got on my radar, and I wasn't looking for it. It's
Somebody
just that
could look it up. Let us know.
I started to, yeah. And shout out to Jeremy, man. His journey is very inspirational, and I think he's got great product. He's doing his thing, and I'm glad that I can use him as the reference that I have. But yeah, as the Build a Soil or the organic, not Build a Soil, but the organic movement kind of took on. That's where you started to see Kiss Organics. You started to see more individual blends, more people. Even I can't say just him, but look at Gaia Green. Look at Mr. Canuck. I think he had a huge play in getting a lot of people onto a simple organic
100%
dry amendment. Right now, I don't want to give. I'm not trying to inflate anybody's head here because he's just an online creator.
We're not stroking anybody off.
But because a lot of the books and a lot of things cover alternatives. However,
but it brought popularity and more mainstream in our space.
Mainstream.
And I definitely
brought it
agree.
mainstream. I think is a better. Yeah, you said it.
I think a lot of it too is accessibility of, again, like I said in another episode, we're not at the grocery store with a million branding things that are in our face. We're looking for good options. We see a grower online. They say, here's what they use. We look that up. We're seeing just what we're looking for. So we're not in a day and age of the hydroponic retail effect, the hydroponic store retail effect, where you're essentially just always being bombarded with branding. This is bigger buds, faster yields, more trichomes, all this shit that distracts you from the little brown bag that has shitty branding. So we're getting more and more people who are going back to simple ways, I feel. And these are things that, again, these hundreds of years, centuries, people have been using organic inputs and elements. And it's been more normalized for growing herbs since the 70s, 60s, So now it's like we're going back to the original roots.
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.